but I'm still headstrong. Push the button, hear the roar. Fight the battle, craving more. Game of legends in my veins. Pixelated dreams remain. High scores flashing in the midnight glow. Silks and shred and set the tempo flow. Leather jackets and teased up hair. Living legends, we don't care. Electric haze on a battle floor. Digital ghosts knock at the door. One more life, it's do or die. Final level, reaching for the sky. Push the button, hear the roar. Fight the battle, craving more. Game of legends in my veins. Pixelated dreams remain. High scores flashing in the midnight glow. Silks and shredding set the tempo flow. Leather jackets and teased up hair. Living legends, we don't care. Electric haze on a battle floor. Digital ghosts knock at the door. One more go, one more life trick haze. Push the button, hear the roar. Fight the battle, craving more. Game of legends in my veins. Pixelated dreams remain. Electric haze on a battlefield. Digital ghosts knock at the door. One more life, it's do or die. Final level, reaching for the sky. Dimensions in my veins. Pixelated dreams remain.
Danhausen here, very nice, very evil, very famous. You are watching the channel that is very nice and very evil. The Nation Network. Isn't that good? Yes, it's true. If you're not watching the Nation Network housing, you are... Wait for it. Wait for it. Cursed.
Sitting here like a reckless child. I keep buzzing electric fire. Chasing scores higher, 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 higher.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Vince McSham with you here, and it is time to say game on. It is also time for me to adjust the damn camera. The one thing about Meld that drives me absolutely crazy is it does not save your camera settings. Every time you reload it, you got to redo your camera settings. That gets a little tiresome when we first adjust that a smidge. Now, let me come over here real quick. Bum, 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 bum. That's what I'm looking for. It's always something. I tried the most recent update to OBS for yesterday's stream over on Twitch, which doesn't have nearly the viewership this channel does, so I figured if I'm going to experiment, I'll go there. And of course, it still crashed after 15 minutes. So we won't be going back to that anymore anytime in the near future until an entirely new version of it comes out, and then we can take a look at it and see if it's working properly. But all right, well, that takes care of that. I should have done that beforehand. Anyway, we are here today to talk about something that I think in a certain way I'm not that surprised about it, but the thing I'm surprised about is I've had more people reach out to me, like I'm any expert on this subject, about, did you hear about this? Did you know about this? And Jay Rocks is one of them. He's here in the house right now. Miracle's here in the house right now. And I know certain things that have been going on, that concern me when it comes to the world of gaming in general, and not just gaming, by the way. Even if you want to talk about other stuff that's getting a little wonky out there, let me make sure this is working okay. Stuff that's getting a little wonky out there, then we also want to talk about stuff like Discord, where they use the story that they're trying to make it safe for children. Okay, and for that reason, we need to have age verification on all of these platforms. And that includes things like providing some sort of photo ID. They are coming out with controllers for the next generation console that will actually have like a fingerprint identifier. It's absolutely lost its fucking minds. I mean, and I know there are going to be a lot of people out there that are going to freely give this information up because they have to play their games. That's sad. It really is. You know, as the old saying goes, go touch grass. And that's coming from somebody who plays a lot of games. I ain't giving up that shit. Not going to happen. But there's other stuff I wouldn't have necessarily gave up either, and it turns out we did, just didn't realize it. So in a recent patch update, which would have been late March, Sony included a little process called DRM. If you're not familiar with DRMs, it's basically digital rights management, and how that works. And a lot of people already are aware of this because this has been happening now for years. People will purchase, let's say, and one in particular that made the news a couple of years back was the Discovery Network or National Geographic. National Geographic, somebody went and bought a whole season of National Geographic. Hey, to each his own. And then went to go watch one of the episodes to find out that you no longer have that. It's like, I bought it. Well, yeah, you bought that because we had the rights to it, but now the copyright holder has, not renewed the contract with us, so we no longer have the rights to it. Case in point, Billy Corgan's NWA. When he launched that thing, I was getting the pay-per-views. I'm trying to support them, okay? They weren't expensive. They were $20. It was once every couple of months. And, they weren't great shows or anything, but I'm trying to support the up-and-coming company. If I go on to Triller now, they're gone. They're no longer tied to Triller in any way, shape, or form, and the videos that I paid for to keep, they're gone. Can't get them. There's no way for me to watch them anymore. So that's like $60 to $80 just thrown out the door, gone. You can't watch any of that stuff that you paid for. That's becoming a concern now in the gaming community because when you purchase a game, you are purchasing a product. You're a physical product. This is not just digital. That's the thing people don't understand. It's not just digital that this is going to affect, but it shouldn't even affect digital. Because if I could have bought this game in the store, but chose for convenience to, digitally get it, not to take up more space, whatever the case may be, I'm still purchasing this title. So there's a few different reasons. Some of them are legitimate as to why this is happening right now and why Sony specifically is going down this path. Now, in saying that, if you don't think all the other gaming companies out there are watching to see, and if you don't think Steam may jump in on this eventually, I'm telling you right now, they are just the guinea pigs. They are the pigeon in the coal mine. We're just starting to play this game out. I'm of the opinion this needs to get in front of a judge sooner rather than later so we can just squash this thing once and for all because it is absolutely illegal. Illegal. You cannot charge people for a product that you take away from them and you don't tell them that. They snuck this in back in March, didn't say shit about it until it came out in Discovery by somebody like us that was doing their gaming thing. And the way this is working, well, I got some videos I'm going to share with you guys as well. But let's just go over what digital rights management actually is, because if you don't understand that, the rest won't make any sense either. It's a set of access control technologies used by publishers and copyright holders to control the use, modification, and distribution of copyrighted works, such as software, music, movies, and ebooks. It works by encrypting digital content and embedding rules within the file or license that dictate what users can do, such as preventing copying, limiting viewing to specific devices, or setting expiry dates. Common types include streaming restrictions, e.g. Netflix, device limits, Apple iTunes, and license check-ins for software. That's the one we're talking about now, license check-ins for software. So the way this is currently set up, and I've got some videos with guys that do a much better job of describing this in detail to you, is that any games that you have digitally purchased, and right now we're still sticking on the digital subject, from late March onwards, are affected by this. And the way it goes currently, and there's seems to be some, and the reason this problem exists the way it does right this minute is because Sony is like 2K. They just don't communicate. They aren't telling the base what the fuck is going on. So you're going to leave it up to us to figure it out. What it is, apparently, is that there's two schools of thought on this. I've heard two different variations. I'm not sure which one is 100% accurate. One is that for the game in particular that you may want to play, if you haven't played it in 30 days, the license has been suspended. It doesn't mean you won't get it back by logging in and trying to play it, and you may have to do something, but in the meantime, you never had to do that before. And what if you're somebody like Jay, for example, who doesn't have great internet, and maybe he can't get on the internet to do that? Well, sorry, you can't play the game you paid for. That doesn't work. It just simply does not work that way. And I believe once this gets to a judge, it's going to get squashed down as it should. In the meantime, let me show you a couple of things out there. I'm probably just going to do these two videos in particular because I thought these guys covered the nuts and bolts of it.
All right, everyone, we have a major update in the PS4 and PS5 30-day DRM issue going on, which we now have the most likely explanation as to what is happening, why it's happening, why it is probably intended, just the way that Sony deployed it is causing a lot of confusion. So now it's much better understood. I do want to apologize. This was developing a little bit going back to Saturday, but as of this morning, we now have a much thorough test being done by Andrew over on Reset Era, so huge shout out to them for being able to validate and replicate this, because over on the thread discussing this very issue, they outlined what they think is going on, and this does seem to be perhaps the most plausible explanation so far as to what is happening. So to preface a few things, another correction, PS Plus Extra and Premium licenses want a check-in every 14 days, so it's bi-weekly instead of monthly. The 14 days is still a very crucial element at play here for what is going on. So,
all right, he's going to go into more description. I can't play his whole video, but I'm going to skip around a little bit. But the nuts and bolts of what he's going to be talking about here is that most people are aware Sony PS5s were recently jailbroken, maybe a month or two ago. Something that allegedly could never be done, but then again, the Titanic could never sink, and we know how that turned out. So by jailbreaking the PS5s, what they've been able to do essentially is purchase a game, not download it, but get the license out of it and keep that license. Then get a hold of Sony and say, I want to refund this game, I'm not going to use it. And get their refund as long as Sony's very strict. And once you've downloaded the game, it's yours. They don't want it back, they're not giving you money back. Okay? Unlike Steam, which I know is a lot friendlier, you have a certain amount of hours or days of gameplay. With Sony, it's a no-nonsense thing. Once you've downloaded that game, it is yours unless it is really broken. Again, they've offered me money for 2K26. They offered a lot of people and gave people money back for Cyberpunk when it dropped down. So when a game is in really bad shape, they will give you your money back. But other than that, rare occasion that it's an unplayable game, you're not getting your money back. So by the fact that these people are doing this, they're getting these codes. Now they can go and download the game later on and use that code and not pay for the game. So from that standpoint, I do understand why Sony would be making some changes. I understand where there would be, and he's going to explain a little bit more here in the reasoning behind the 14 days and the 30-day time periods.
The thing to bear in mind with how licenses work via PlayStation.com, once you log into your console, that license should populate. And this will happen no matter what, because crucially, we all know that with refunds on the PlayStation Store, if you even so much as download a game, you are not valid for a refund on the PlayStation Store. So it is a very restrictive process. But crucially, like I just said, As long as you buy the game, you don't have to download it. That indefinite license will populate on your console, whether it's primary or not primary. If it's a non-primary console, you do have to be connected online, then that license should populate on your console. So you have the...
So here's another thing that he's mentioning here, is that with Sony, you have these options of your primary and non-primary consoles. Well, what people do with that scenario is they'll buy the game once. So let's say my cousin and I shared the same account on my console, where maybe this is the main account, and then on his console I could put my account there as well, which would allow him access to the games that I've purchased, but it's not my main. Okay, and my understanding is I don't think you can run both of them simultaneously. We've never done that, and he's got his own account, so it's not an issue for us. And that's my thing too. I only have my console here, and that's it. I don't have any other places where there's another console other than my PS4, which is in the same household. So I don't know how much they check on, servers and things like that, or which IPS it's coming from, ISP rather. But anyway, that all said, I can see where people would be taking advantage of these things. They're aware of it, and likened to the Netflix sharing of passwords that went on so long before Netflix finally cracked down on it, Sony's decided that to do the same thing would cost them more money than it's worth. They would lose customers over it. They're just deciding that that's not the route they're going to take. Whereas I believe that is the route you should absolutely take. One console, one account. I don't understand how... Now, again, if it's a PS5 and a PS4, that's different because you upgraded, but yet you have certain things on your PS4. You don't want to jam all your memory up with your PS4 games on your PS5. So, yeah, that's a separate console under the same account because you've upgraded. I mean, I got my PS3 as well under the same name. So as long as it's a different console, then I believe, generation-wise, you should be allowed to have one of each console. That still wouldn't completely fix the problem, but I think it would really hem it up a lot because nowadays you're not making PS4 games anymore. So if you just did it and said you're allowed one PS5 console on your account, pick it. That takes care of the problem. That's where I'm coming from with it anyway.
Indefinite license. That's the most important part of this whole thing. Temporary 30-day license, or actually that's what it shows on PlayStation 4, because again, this might be perhaps an unintended visual bug on Sony's part, and that when you download a PS4 game, it does show the recent timer is showing 29 days, and that implies, oh, there's a monthly check-in. The other issue with what people were initially doing with the testing is like, okay, how do we speed that up? Well, the most natural thing is to remove the CMOS battery because that's the true clock of the...
So what he's going into now is talking about how people have tested this out to see how it's not working, and they don't want to wait 30 days for the test to complete. So what they've done is they've removed the battery from the PlayStation 5 unit, and that wipes out the ability for it to track date and time accurately, and it will automatically presume that time has lapsed, and then they can't go in and play their games. That may be accurate, but it's not a true test. The only way to really know is to buy the game currently and let it sit for 30 days. That's the only way you're going to truly know if that is the scenario. And nobody's done that yet.
But it does still operate in the same way. PS4 and 5, if you were to buy a game immediately and then install it, remove the CMOS, stay offline, it will give you an error. You can't launch that software because you are under a 14-day window. So Andrew was able to test and validate this. There's this window that we're in, right? And that's what's been so confusing, is that people were testing it with games they just bought, which seemed like a very good, proper litmus test because, hey, I just bought this game, why can't I launch it? But really what's going on is that seemingly you had to have owned that game for at least 14-something days because that goes past PlayStation's refund window. So it...
All right, so if you caught what he just said there, the 14-day time frame puts you beyond the refund policy. So now they know that you've bought that game, you're paying for that game. Yeah, you have the license, but you also bought the game and you're not getting a refund. You may still be sharing that with multiple accounts, But at the very least, they're getting some money out of it.
It appears, though, this might be Sony's attempt to get around an exploit where people with jailbroken consoles can pull that license, never download the game, be able to store that indefinite license, go to PlayStation support. They are free and clear to ask for a refund. They get that refund, but they have an indefinite license that populated on their console, and thus they're able to still continue playing the game. That seems to make the most reasonable sense so far as to what is likely going on. So there was that.
All right, so that's and there's more of this video if you guys want to go check out the full thing in detail. It's under Mystic is the channel. Let me see if I can drop the link in here. Nah, oh, there it goes. Okay. So there's the link to that video if you want to watch it in full. In the meantime, there was another one here. We'll check this out real quick.
Just quietly confirmed it is intentional. Any digital game you buy after March 2026 update now requires you to go online at least once every 30 days or it will not even launch. Doesn't matter if it's your primary console. Doesn't matter if you paid full price. This is exactly why people don't trust owning digital games anymore. And this is a screenshot that has been verified by multiple other people as well going around. This is the PlayStation support. Thank you for your interest in your 30-day timer that's being applied to all new purchases. Affected content. Games purchased digitally after the March 2026 update. Offline functionality, which, hold on, real quick. I got to stop and say, I feel like Sony tried to slide in one of the most nefarious, evil, horrible things you could do with DRM on a console, selling games to people without telling them up front and hiding this in the fine print at the bottom that no one ever reads.
Do you think?
This needed a press release. This needed the bells and whistles of, hey, just so everyone knows, this is what we're doing moving forward. To be clear with everyone, full transparency, which is all a customer deserves at the end of the day. This is shady as fuck. And it really pisses me off when companies do this. Offline functionality. If the console does not connect to the internet within 30 days, the license expires and the game may refuse to launch until a connection is restored. Hey, quick question. So if you're, I don't know, military, active duty, and you're stationed overseas in an area that has electricity but doesn't have a solid internet connection or the ability to connect, so you're just SOL if you're stationed there for a few months at a time, your games just stop working. What about those people? Like, fuck you? That's how Sony thinks of the soldiers? Like, really?
Makes a good point, doesn't he? This is why I'm telling you guys right now, this is absolutely illegal. There's just no way that this can be allowed to stand if it gets in front of a judge. And I think it's going to take some folks getting together and to get some lawyers involved before we're going to actually get to that point. That's just where I'm coming at from this thing. I think they really need to think this through and consider how bad are we going to stand up to this company, because you can't do this. You absolutely cannot do this. It's robbery. It's no different than 2K saying, okay, you paid for all this content, but we're going to lock it, and now you have to unlock it. What the hell was paid for? You paid for the chance to unlock it. Go fuck yourselves. They're getting all out of control with themselves over video games. But whose fault is it really? Who gave them the power? The people that never leave a couch. And I don't even feel bad anymore about it. I mean, I look at it this way. I am not going to lose sleep. Maybe it's a good thing. Force everybody out of the house again. I just got done taking a ride on the bike. Feel much better. Oh, let's see. Andrew Roberts in the house. Ken Rogers. I don't have the music queued up. I'll have to get you on the next one, buddy. J Rocks, of course, here. Autocorrected is in the house. It's an excuse to gather more data on us and sell it. It's 100% all it is. That is 100% all it is, a data collection. It's a scam. And not for anything, Sony, what's your track record when it comes to keeping our information secure? I think I've had 2 credit cards that I've had to cancel because of you. Because you can't keep your shit safe. And by your shit, I mean my shit. I like my shit. I don't want everyone to have my shit. But you don't protect my shit, so they get my shit. Prime time in the house. Hulk Hogan's mustache is here. Says Xbox and Phil Spencer are licking their lips at all the people selling their PS5s. Dude, there are nobody selling their PS5s. And here's the thing. They ain't licking their lips for shit. They are waiting and watching. And if this plays out in favor of Sony, they will be joining the party. They'll just be a little late to the dance. And I got the PS3 still. And honestly, even that, when you say in that, it's like the PS4 is going to be affected by this as well, which is ridiculous that you can go back a generation. This is why I'm saying it's illegal. You cannot do this. I am telling you right now, get it in front of a judge and this all goes away. Now, they will end up, probably, and I'm fine with it, changing the ability to have the account on multiple consoles, which is perfectly reasonable. One console, one account. That's it. I get it. You might have 2 kids in the house and they need one for each of them because this one, first off, if you got that kind of money, God bless you. But then you got that kind of money for the PSN account. Or they don't need to play online games. You pick your poison. But they do have a right to protect their investment. They do have a right to protect their intellectual property. Make sure it's not being sold off or stolen. What they don't have a right to do is take it away from the people who purchased it. It's the same thing even now with the fucking Ford trucks that are going to be coming out. They've got cameras watching you in your truck that will tell you you can't drive right now. You seem to be too emotional. You seem to be maybe under the influence. You seem to be So if you were just outside working in the yard and God forbid had some accident where you chainsaw a tree limb down and the chainsaw cuts your arm and you're starting to heavily bleed and you got to get to the hospital and you jump in your damn truck and yeah, you probably look stressed out right now as you hope you make it to the hospital in time. And the truck's going to be like, no, sorry, you can't start this. No. You're in no condition to drive right now. And you bleed out right there in your driveway. These things cannot be allowed to stand. These companies are just getting too out there right now, and there needs to be regulation. Big time. Fast. Primetime says, help got Xbox Series as a new console. I'm guessing that means you have a Xbox. I've never ran one in my life. I don't even know if I've ever seen one in person, to be honest with you. So I've got no opinion on Xbox. Xbox Series X is perfect. Well, it's perfect maybe for now. Like I said, they are watching, and if you don't think they're going to join that party, you're just kidding yourself. You can play 3 generations. Well, that is a good thing. That is a good thing. That can play all. Yeah, I mean, the DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, like, I don't buy anything 4K because I don't have a 4K TV, and because, honestly, the human eye can't even absorb it. What's the point? Other than to pay higher amounts of money for something that your eye can't even detect. Judd's in the house. Yeah, there is a bit of a double standard there, isn't there? You're not valid for a refund, but we can take the game away from you. That we can do. And I'm glad when people have a game plan, right? Very close to getting the PlayStation 5 last weekend. Why did you wait, man? If you were that close to getting it, you should have got it a few weeks earlier before the price hike. Now it's like $150 more. Again, I don't think this stands the test of time. I think they're going to get themselves in a lot of shit. I have bought digital games. Even this 2K26 is a digital purchase. It was prior to March or the end of March. So it should not be under the... But either way, I'm on it all the time, and I'm in a situation where I'm always online. So based on all that criteria, I shouldn't have any issues that I would even notice. But that's not the point. That's the old saying about, they came for the Polish people, but I wasn't Polish, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for these people, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't this. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to hear my cries. So I'm not waiting for them to get to me personally. Yeah, primetime, a lot of people nowadays do get the digitals. I've never liked digital. I've never liked it. I've always wanted physical copies. I like the artwork. I like the boxes. I like having a disc. For this very reason. What if I can't get online? There are games like Rocket League, for example. I'm a big fan of Rocket League. I play too much of that. And if the servers aren't working for some reason, or if my internet is down for some reason, I can't do shit with Rocket League. It's a drink coaster. The Division. I don't even know if the first Division is still alive or not anymore, but without internet, you can't do dick with that game. Nothing. And there's a lot of them out there like that. I mean, at least with Call of Duty, yeah, you can't play online matches, but you could play the story mode. With the games like The Division, there's no story mode. It's like you're kind of... The story is you're playing the game online. Jay says, I'm lucky every game I bought online on Steam, I've downloaded on my computer, so even if they did this, also, they can't take it away from me because it is off their servers and on my extended memory. I'm not a good enough expert on the technicalities of all that. Even if you have it on an external drive, there's still a license that is recognized somewhere when you go to play it, I would think. But that's a time will tell kind of thing. Yeah, I never bought anything digital ever until PlayStation 4, and even then, late in its life cycle. And honestly, most of the digital stuff I have from the PS4 and PS5, for that matter, the majority of it is because it was a free game of the month. The only things I ever bought, and I've told this story before, digitally, are the WWE 2K series because I wanted to have it at midnight so we could do our launch parties and all that kind of stuff. But then at the end of the life cycle, I would go on to eBay and buy a used copy of it just so I would have that. At some point in time, I'm going to start looking for a WWE 2K25 just so I have a physical copy of it. PlayStation 3 games on disc. Watch when everyone purchases GTA. Yeah, dude, if you don't think GTA 6 was the first thing that popped in my mind, because you say what you want, man. They could put fingerprints and retinal scans and all that shit in there, and they will fucking do that just to play that game. That's how bad things are. In the name of protecting children. GTA 6, you should just not be able to play it if you're a child. But we all know that's who makes up a vast majority of that audience. Bunch of foul-mouthed little children. All right, folks. That's where it's at right now as far as I can tell. Let me see if this guy had anything else in here.
Oh, it's just 30 days. What? You're not going to connect to the internet in 30 days? Yeah, it's just 30 days now. Next is, well, even then, no. Even just 30 days now. No, I bought the game, I own it. Get the fuck out of my console, bro. I own your game. That's how this works. I give you money, you give me the game.
Yes.
Sale over. Like
that is how it works. I mean, how is this even a conversation anymore? It's where the world has gone crazy. You got guys that say they're girls and they're allowed to go in the girls' locker room and play girls' sports, and we're supposed to be okay with that. You can buy something, but it's not really yours. You're supposed to be okay with that. Enough of the crazy bullshit, people. I am sick and tired.
That's the end of the deal. It's over. Next is verify your identity at the end of 30 days or lose access to your account. 100%. This should bury PlayStation, but gamers aren't angry enough.
Why aren't they angry enough? Because not a lot of them understand this has even happened. They're in their own little worlds and they haven't been paying attention to the news. They haven't seen this information. And it hasn't hit them yet. You know, they haven't had that moment of, you're going to lose access to your account because we don't know who you are. You know, after, now I take that back. Back when I set up my PlayStation account, and they can say what they want about their rules and policies, shove them up your ass. PlayStation does not have my real name. They have my credit card information, but not my real name. And that was long before the hacks started happening. But I always knew, I ain't trusting you people. How much information am I going to give you? I just want to play a fucking game. That's it. I ain't giving you my information. So they don't have my birthday. They have a birthday, not my birthday. They don't have my name. When I was dealing with this whole 2K fiasco from this year, and I was talking to Sony about it, about getting my money back, or, you know, what do we got to do about this? They were asking for the name on the account, and stupidly, I was not thinking about the fact that I didn't give them my real name on the account. And then when I explained to them, well, that's not the name that's on the account, I immediately realized I gave them my real name, not the name on the account, and I realized my mistake when she hesitated. I said, I'm sorry, the name you have is different, and I gave her the right name, or that they would have had on the account. She said, well, right there, that's a breach of terms of service. And I'm like, no, it's my son's name. He's the one that used it. I'm the one that pays for it, which is all a bullshit story, but that's besides the point. It could be true. I am not going to give you information about me because you guys leak it everywhere. You leave it vulnerable to hackers, and now you just literally want it so that you can put it together and shuffle it off to where? Who knows? You're going to sell it all off. Yeah, Miracle, like I said, there's a GTA 5. I enjoyed it. I got it at launch, literally sold it the next day. The very next day I sold it because GameStop wasn't offering shit for it. I sold it on eBay. Got my full price back that way. Because, man, oh man, every other word was the N-word. It was so bad. And I'm like, this is every negative stereotype. Why are people playing this? And why are people of color supporting this? This does nothing for your culture. It produces more of what we see on friggin' TikTok videos all the damn time. Then my girlfriend during COVID started playing it, and I realized once you get past that first 30 minutes, then we kind of get into just more story-driven shit. And there was some fun to be had with that and characters that were a little bit. But that said, I didn't play that game until it was like $20. So I may play GTA 6, depending. Last I heard, it's going to be a gay game, and if it is, I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to, be defending the rainbow flag or any of that shit.
Wholeheartedly agree. My concern with this situation is people will not get angry enough about it, and this will just go through, and people are like, yeah, whatever. A few people raised hell, and then it just kind of was a blip in the radar, and it went away, and people just moved on with their...
So I've already canceled my renewal, and I mentioned this previously, because the only game I play online, really, for the most part, is Rocket League, and I don't need their servers for that. Rocket League provides that automatically. You don't need to have a PSN account. Other than that, the only games I used to play online was The Last of Us, the first one, multiplayer. Haven't played that in months and months and months. And then when I do play it, it's like I am so bad now. I used to be decent. I was never great. I was okay. Now I'm just horrible. I mean, it's not even funny anymore. And there's really no other games that I need online features for. That's not my style of game. I like to, play singularly here. Even with the NHL title that I've got, I don't play online matches. I know that I'm not as good as these guys, and there's no fun in just getting crushed. But I do want to play the seasons. I do want to have my Islander games, and I want to, be able to play as the Islanders and have some matches. I just don't want to play other people that I know are going to whoop the shit out of me. Whereas Rocket League, I'm okay at Rocket League. I'm not great, but I'm better than a lot of people. And I can hold my own. So I don't mind playing that. So one title that I feel like I at least belong on the field. I'm not going to embarrass anybody most of the time.
Daily stationed overseas or on the moon. They're the real ones affected most by this shit. Quote tweeting Kata, there are no words. This is the most greedy and anti-consumer thing I've ever seen in gaming.
Greed. That seems to be the new word. I feel like Mr. Rogers, and we're in the neighborhood now. Today's word, children, is greedy. Do you know what greedy is? Yeah, we sure do. Look at the Walt Disney World Company. Look at 2K. Look at Sony. They're all like one-upping each other. Every one of them is like, hold my beer. I cannot imagine this does not, at the very least, get legal representation with a threat of, hey, we're going to court. And Sony goes, oh, no need. Oops, we'll fix this. Or they can really try it out. I mean, if they were to push it to a courtroom, which I cannot imagine that happening, because the negative publicity from that will be a death nail. First off, you'll lose the legal funds that you're going to spend on that case. You'll get no compensation when you lose. And, of course, Sony has a lot of money right now. They can afford lawyers and all that shit. But you can't afford to just throw that money away. And that's what they'd be doing. And I'm pretty sure their legal team knows that.
Ever seen in gaming yet. And again, really no different than Don Matic with the Xbox One. Pirate Nation, a tester has found that recent digital purchases on PlayStation now include a 30-day license validation timer. When the console's CMOS battery dies and the internal clock resets, these games become unplayable even on the primary console, requiring an online connection to revalidate the license. Older digital titles without this timer continue to launch and play normally offline despite a dead CMOS battery. This is crazy, by the way.
What does that tell you? The fact that games that you purchased prior, they work. It's only the ones after the March update. That tells me is we can't affect the games you bought prior because we didn't give you the information. We'd be changing the terms of our agreement back then. Well, you didn't really tell anyone about it here either. Now, here's where they're going to say, sure we did, because when the update comes through and you acknowledge that you've updated your console to the newest parameters, there's always one of these EULAs that you have to read through again, scroll through, and click, yes, I agree. Nobody reads that. And you can say all you want, well, that's on you because it's in writing and you acknowledged it. The law actually has stipulations that covers this. Anything that a reasonable person would not be aware of or understand, and here's the understanding part, is legal language. The majority of us didn't go to law school. And less of us probably speak Latin. So if you are using legal terminology with a regular person, they can't acknowledge agreement on something that was presented to them in a way they can't understand it, number one. Number two, you have them as a captive audience that they've purchased a unit from you from anywhere from $500 to $1,000 now. And they know if they don't click this button, they can't keep using that unit. So you can't sell it to them and then later say, okay, if you want to keep using it, you got to do these new rules. In what world? The same reason why the frickin' Ford trucks ought to be taken off the market before they ever hit the market. And there should be a massive lawsuit there as well. There will be. Wait till the first person dies because they couldn't get themselves a medical treatment. And how you don't see that happening before it happens is beyond me. It drives me crazy when people can implement something as stupid as that and not see how that is going to backfire. You can say all you want that we're trying to make sure there's no more drunk driving deaths and all that. Honest to God, you guys don't give a fuck about that. You just want to track everyone's movements. You want to get their personal information. You want to be able to talk about what games they're playing, what they're watching. It is all about accumulating knowledge on individuals' uses that you have no business knowing. You want to know what games are selling, then that's fine. You can tell by how many games have sold of a certain brand and know where the direct, there was a while back where the zombie thing was the biggest thing in the world, and anything with a zombie on it was going to sell out the door. Now, you come up with a zombie game today, it's not going to sell the same. It's not. I'm not saying it might not do well, but it's not like 10 years ago when they just couldn't keep that kind of property around.
Older digital titles without this timer continue to launch and play normally offline despite a dead CMOS battery. This is crazy, by the way. Originally, when it first came out, it was a rumor posted on r/Gaming Leaks rumor. New reports suggest 30-day online check-in DRM may be added to PS4, PS5 digital purchases. And again, this has since been confirmed. Modern Lance McDonald claims that Sony has introduced a new DRM system affecting digital games on PS4 and PS5. According to the claim, newly purchased digital games may require an online check every 30 days. If the console isn't connected within that period, the license could be revoked temporarily. This reportedly does not affect older purchases. So I have a quick question. What happens if, I don't know, 15 years from now, maybe not even that long, 10 years from now, PS5 store goes offline and the PS6 is what they're using moving forward? What happens, similar to what happened with the eShop with the Wii Digital Game Store? What happens with the ability to get your games and re-download them in the future? Are they going to patch this out of it? Like, there's so many questions I have when you start implementing this bullshit DRM. 10+ days for the Sony network that goes down. It's happened before. I believe it was 19 days, 22 days, something like that. What happens when it goes down from a hack? What are you going to do? Not play your games? Wild.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to not do. So that's where we're at right now. Again, I watched probably about 4 or 5 videos, but these are the 2 that I liked the most, that I thought did a better job of explaining it than the others. I really just want to see it fast tracked to an attorney. That's all. Let's just get attorneys involved, and that'll take care of it. It'll end very quickly once the lawyers get involved. Well, Miracle, as I'm catching up on comments here, I'm not a fan of that word either. But yet, GTA 5 is a very popular game in the culture. Matter of fact, when it came out, and I returned it the next day, I went to work that night, and there's a guy that worked there every afternoon, and he'd be leaving shortly after I arrived, and we'd always touch base, and we'd talk bullshit about different games and whatever it was, we'd have in common that we'd kind of like a passing of the torch. He'd be going home as I'm getting there to go to work. And he was a black man. And he's like, dude, you returned GTA 5, man. I love that game. And I'm looking at him and says, how can you possibly defend that game as a black person? What do you mean, man? What you mean? I was just, every N-word, every other sentence, and you know, what are they doing? They're gangbanging and they're robbing and they're shooting and they're doing. It's every negative stereotype in the world on steroids. Yo, man, that's how it be. So I says, that's the problem. Y'all are glorifying this bullshit. You got children playing this thing. And you wonder. Yeah, trying to turn the word around and all that. I look at it this way. If one person's allowed to say it, everyone's allowed to say it. Period. There's no word in the English dictionary that, oh, no, I'm black, I'm allowed to say this word. No. I don't have a word I'm allowed to say only. I don't know anyone else that does. Yeah, but even if I say the word with the A at the end, it still ain't going to matter. I mean, let's remember when Vince McMahon said it to John Cena backstage on Raw that night. Man, that crowd, and this is attitude time, right? That crowd had that hush sound of, ooh, like, yeah, And I was really surprised that between Booker T and Charmel, who were in that scene, and Cena, they didn't like, boss, we don't want to do this one, boss. I get it. That's the man signing the paychecks. You don't want to tell them no. That's the whole thing in wrestling back in that day, especially, is, you know, when Vince asks you to do something like get on all fours and bark like a dog, you do it. Auto-corrected. I think that that backlash is coming. I just think not a lot of people are familiar with this. I think there are the hardcore gamers, like a lot of you guys, like myself, that see these videos. But let's be honest with you. If these guys hadn't put out these videos, would you know about it? I wouldn't know about it. But a lot of these other folks, all they do is get on their console and play their games. I don't got time to watch videos. It's going to cut into my game time. Just go in the house. How you doing, brother? Exactly. If you don't agree to the licensing term and the agreement, then you lose your games anyway, right? How about that? It's basically, here's a blank check from your bank account. Here's a pen, and now they're holding a gun at your head. I just need your signature here. Unless you want to get your head blown off, you're going to sign the damn check. Smooth realism in the house. Sony is some booty, which is why I'm going to become a pirate and call them the hard N-word with the hard R. I see what you did there. I got you. Oh, brother. It's getting to the point where anything that you find enjoyable, they're going to find a way to fuck it up, man. It just, everybody's got to be dipping. Everybody. And it's not even for good reasons. That's the kicker. It's not because they're trying to protect children. It's because they're trying to gain more control, get more data, more information, tracking behaviors. No. Mind your own fucking business. Your business and my business ended when you took my credit card and took payment for that product. We're done after that. If I want to lick that disc, that's my business, not yours. You got no say in what happens after the purchase. As long as I'm not breaking into it, hacking it, modding it. Which even then, how many of these people in the modding community very open about it on their X accounts, posting the modifications they've made and where you can get them, where the developers are aware of it, and they don't do shit about it. I'll say one thing for Bethesda for doing Fallout 4, they actually embellish it, embrace it. They have a whole tab there for modded stuff that you can add to your, even if you don't have modding abilities, that's okay. It's already done for you. Just move it on over, use it in your game, which I like. It makes the game fun to play. I just got a new mod that I didn't have access to in the past. It lets, if you're familiar with Fallout, now you can build things literally anywhere you want to put them. There's no more issues with collision or anything like that. You can, and I love it. It's like now I can go back to my settlements and make them look exactly the way I want them to with no problems. So that makes me want to play the game more. That's a good thing. Whereas Sony right now is getting it to the point where you don't want to play them at all because they're going to try and make it a pain in the ass. My guess is between 30 and 60 days from now, there should be a lawsuit on the table. I can't imagine it going more than 60 days. It'll be a class action, I'm pretty sure. It should be a class action lawsuit, which they will lose. And only the stupidest of attorneys would try to fight it. And I'm still with them on protecting these people that now have gone out and jailbroken the PS5, which that's an illegal act. Illegal. Federal imprisonment. Okay? So you have a right to have a problem with this licensing thing. And I'm even okay with the 14 days. Because after that, it's yours. Or here's another idea. Just don't do refunds. Once you've purchased it, even if you haven't downloaded it, you shouldn't have bought it. That really solves the problem right there. Know what you're buying, because once you've bought it, it's yours. This is not Walmart. We don't take them back. Buy it at Walmart, physically, don't open the package, and you can bring it back. And even Walmart, you buy it, you don't open the package physically. I want to say it's a 30-day on video games. And then they won't take it back anymore. Well, Sony was never making games for PC, but then they kind of finally started deciding to see, okay, let's see, if we throw Last of Us over there, how it does. And then, man, I don't understand what the problem was with that. A game that had been out for 6 years, they move it over to PC, and it was so broken. I mean, 2K20 levels of broken. And I'm like, how is that possible? At the end of the day, the PS5 is a computer. That's what it is. The Xbox is a computer. Your PC is a computer. We can run emulators. How in the world could they not have just had a language that was understood equally? I don't understand it, but man, that game came out so broken on the PC. Cyberpunk level broken. All right, folks, that's where I'm at. Like I said, I had more people asking me this question about, have you heard about this? Do you know anything about this? And I'm like, damn, even when the patches come out for 2K that we're all playing, I don't get this kind of stuff hitting me like from left and right. I was surprised. Figured, okay, we'll do a video. I'm no expert on it, so I'm bringing these guys in as the more educated voices. Matter of fact, let me get you the link for the second video here. So if you want to go check them out for yourself and see the whole thing like I did, you can do that. If you're watching on Twitch, I don't know if they allow links to go into the chat or not, so if it's not there, I apologize, but you can jump over to the YouTube channel and you can pick it up from here. All right, well, that said, that's all I got for this episode. Appreciate you guys. We'll keep an eye on it. as soon as I hear about a lawsuit, then we'll probably do a follow-up video because, again, that is absolutely going to happen. Well, I'll remind you once again to say the 2 magic words for as long as you can anyway, because, I don't know, we might not be able to do it much longer, but you know.
Okay! Game on! 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 Yeah, game on!
Lights burning like so wild, twisted in hand like a reckless child. Our keep was the electric fire, chasing scores higher, higher, higher.